Only Realm versus Tribe Gaming. This is a fated matchup. I'm so looking forward to this one. Heading straight into the draft here. Dueling Beetles. Leon is left open. And of course he's going to be picked up. Pierce left open too. What is happening?
With a Leon pick as well that you have in first pick, you cannot realistically take what Pierce away, especially on a map like Dueling Beetles. You gotta have some kind of other answer for that. Let's see as well the Grey M-Span is beautiful bans to take that away. Ziggy last pick is of course a threat, that's why he is banned. Orders and Ember, in my opinion, might have been even target bans. Orders is quite annoying, but I don't know if it's worth a ban even on this map. Crow ban as well could potentially point for a Mina pick. Finks getting picked that early, I'm not too sure if that's a math, especially from Meeple open too.
I'm surprised to hear this coming from you. Because if every hot zone map, it's Finks with this guy.
Except this one. This is the only map where I would say he is not that good. Chester though getting picked as a Leon counter and a really good anti-tank. Yeah, I just don't think Finks is that good on this map because there's too many walls for you to do anything. Plus he could even go Pogo mid to counter Finks here.
Into Finks now, usually want to pick up the M's. She's banned out. Chester would also be kind of good. Picked up already. What do you really go here? Ember also has been the pick for NA to pick up against the Finks. I think many of his counters are just out of the way, so they decided to go with him here. For the side of Tribe, they could still just open up the map and go a Pierce comp here.
Oh.
Never mind, they decide to go with Clancy. Is it gonna be a tank now as last pick? Did they pick Clancy to not have him against him?
Like, yes. However, I don't know if this is the place to go. And here's the risk with Clancy. You need to have an extended game for him to succeed, or something that must push you, right? Because very well, he could just be outranged the entire game and not get level ups. He could have 0 good matchups. I don't think that's a good matchup for him into Chester or into Finks.
I think into Chester, you have quite a bit of range. So if you play pure 1v1 and have a get minus all Pierce. Overhand, which means that Leon or Clancy is going to be mid. Finks will have quite a nice matchup. Now, what do you go to counter that? You can't go Sniper. You could go perhaps a Barley, but that Pierce might get too much value. You could go nice Assassin. You do feed for Clancy for that. I don't dislike it either way, though. Penny is a beautiful border to pick up right now.
I'm kind of leaning towards the Penny as well. Just doesn't seem like there's really anything to address it. Tribe, they don't have any wall break. Everything is in Only Realm's hands, but they're taking their time with this one. Could they farm the Shade? Are they feeling the Shade influence right now, Meeple? Just generate some more walls, stuff everyone back. Pierce needs long sight lines in order to succeed, so basically every few seconds they can keep that Pierce away and push in a mid off of that.
Not the biggest fan of it, but you know what? I don't mind it either. You have a start now thanks against the Leon gadget. You have something for this Leon gadget, so it's not gonna just suppress you completely at the start, and the Clancy is not gonna get level 2 immediately at the start. So I don't hate it. I definitely would have preferred a Penny though.
I'm surprised to see no wall breaks whatsoever, except the Chester, of course, if he gets the correct super. Interesting matchup here. Who will take the first set? Who will set the momentum for the following sets? It's such a good match, this one. Have fun casting.
It has been 3 months leading up to this very match, and it's all that's left between Tribe Gaming and going to the Brawl Cup. Either that, or it'll be Team Electros, who led off strong in the beginning of the season. Only Realm had the chance to protect their fate. Patchy's going to get an early takedown on the left side, and look at this. Luffy has actually gotten to level 2 quite early on.
I was about to say it was quite a good stuff. Only remember, technically it was Jago Gamer with a Pierce shot. Pierce ult just cleaning everything. See, the Clancy getting level 2 as well. Quite an awful start. That has developed for Only Realm here. Nice box on the right side here to catch him off guard here, to just get him out of the game, because Pierce is probably the main brawler you don't want to face right now in this comp. No kill on the top left either. Everyone from Only Realm is falling down. Tribe Gaming is looking on point right now.
They have all of the wall break possibilities, however. Are Only Realm going to shape this to their whim? Well, here comes Diego Gamer on the right side with a hypercharge. It's going to be some serious damage versus Patchy, looking for the lane rotation onto the right side, and Bobby's just fighting to stay alive. Tribe Gaming own this mid. RBM owns Sands on the left side as well. He has a hypercharge if he needs to use it, but he might not even need to. One desperate push is all Only Realm have left in them.
Clancy is not even level 3 yet. They have full control of a level 2 Clancy. This Chester has no impact whatsoever. He's not able to push, as you can see clearly. Even if he don't, he's just gonna beat the Clancy. Tribe Gaming takes away game number 1. And I feel we have quite a big enough draft here. And I told you I'm not a big fan of the things, but you know, like, I didn't see him do anything. Did he even get an ult?
No, I don't think so. And look, I'm also kind of fixated on this Chester because what I noticed for Chester is that in spite of him getting supers, he didn't manage to get any bombs. That's one of the tough things about Chester being meta is that he's an RNG-based brawler. He's like got, what, a 1 in 5 chance of rolling a bomb, which they need to give themselves an effective causeway into mid. If they could just break this destructible wall on the left side, then it would be so good. But this is a big heads-up play from Bobby. He's going to be throwing down those walls early on to block Diego Gamer off. It allows Only Realm to overwhelm the left side and get the lane victories.
Beautiful free taps from Bobby here, secures the kill. PS finally the first time they have full control. Leon ult, do they know where he is? He don't know. Sans almost going down, feeding quite a lot here. Gadget is going to block all the way here. There's a tiny pixel low, one time gap to go through it. Does Patchy cover it? He's covering perfectly with the spray, with a poison damage, stopping the healing of Luffy. However, that Pierce on the right side is completely open and it's a big threat.
Bobby's just waiting till he gets his next box, and he's without a doubt going to use it on Diego Gamer. Might actually wait for an entire team push in to make it more effective. He doesn't have a super to combine to take down Diego Gamer afterwards. Sans is going to lock down this lane yet again. It is all about these choke points here on Dueling Beetles, but the first one to fall is Sans. We've seen how dominant Tribe Gaming can be once they get control. It's looking more and more likely by the second. Bobby needs to make a huge play, divides his attention between Luffy and Diego Gamer, keeps Luffy low enough for Sans to pick up the kill, and Diego Gamer also, in his attempts to pick up the pieces, actually has gotten a kill. It's possible for Tribe Gaming to establish some control on mid, while Only Realm only need to push in for a few more percent.
Last 3%, the thing's still coming down. The clan shield is there, but it's not gonna be enough. Patchy runs through it, secures the kill. We have the game in our hands. I think the most crucial kill we had in this game was Bobby killing the Pierce, taking away all the pressure, and once they spawn trap both comms. If you spawn trap, you spawn trap. You're not getting that easy down on both sides of the comp. So the start is super important here.
What's really relevant here on Dueling Beetles is the chokes, because we don't really have much destructible potential here. There's a 1 in 5 that you see a wall break from Patchy, and that's about it. And if they have control, then he's gonna want to keep those walls up. And you also have Finks, who's able to choke off a lane with his super. Bobby is going to have basically a timer on his. This time you see Tribe Gaming adapt. Yes, they still send Diego Gamer right, and he gets blocked off immediately. But Tribe have been much more stalwart in their defense of the mid and the left lanes. It allows them to stay alive here, but they still do lose control ultimately.
Box on the right, securing them some mid-pressure, putting the chest on Leon as always. Clancy is not going to get the kill on the Finks here. Good dodges all around from Santi. Bobby in a 2v1, but unfortunately 1v1 from Santi ceiling right now. Ult coming down. Is Leon going to get a kill? He is getting a kill, but there is ult down. It's going to connect thanks to the slow Finks ult. The Pierce, the homing effect of the Pierce ult actually connected. Crazy interaction right there. Full control from the side of Tribe Gaming. It's going to be incredibly hard for Only Realm to actually push out of this.
And with Patchy staggered, it's going to be a two-pronged push at best, but Bobby's going to kick things off with a combination on the right side. No, but rushes in way too hastily. He did have to stand inside of the nook of that indestructible to get the box that far, but couldn't wrap around to the right side in time to take full advantage. That is a victory at mid, however. Sans is playing out of his mind right now. Off the backs of that push, Only Realm get to occupy mid. Note that Luffy is very close to his level 3, and that is going to be a huge issue when it happens, because it seems like an inevitability at this point.
He's getting it by the next shot. There's a Leon in the ult on the left side. Has some hyper 2. Probably not going to use it. He is actually going to use it. Not the best use of it. There's a gold cleanse in our mid. Full battle a little bit. There's some Meeple hyper ult that's going to happen to Clancy ult just to get some control there. Meeple again comes down. Hyper ult as well. Goes through a wall there. Favor the field. Oh! Shot wrapped down completely. Only Realm is not going to break out of this. And now with no gadget, no box of Meeple, how are they going to break out of this?
Well, Patchy can still walk through for a temporary period. They retreat both into the safety of the indestructible. Bobby is out of utility. It's going to be an effort, probably of futility. Tribe Gaming have advanced beyond Only Realm's percentage so far. Only one more effort left for Only Realm to push in here. Patchy is going to just send it. RBM going way deep, and Bobby taking a butt-ton of damage from Diego Gamer's super. Luffy's going to send one more their way because they know that they've taken this very first set.
The shutdown from Diego Gamer on the Meeple hyper ult, and the most crucial moment that was there. Literally the game-deciding moment who wins set number 1 was absolutely fantastic. What a vision from Diego Gamer. What a potential blunder. I don't even know if it was a blunder. I think Diego Gamer just played it insane from him to just shut him down like that.
I think it's really the latter here, that yes, it was remarkable from Diego Gamer. Despite all of the stuff that was thrown his way, every single box was pretty much thrown over to this Pierce, and then you have Pink Supers put over there as well to try and stop him. This was game number 1, where it was like the Diego Gamer show when it came to locking down that right lane. He was untouchable. Game number 2, though, saw Only Realm rolling out with putting that box on the right side immediately and wrapping around the left. They got an early kill on the left lane, and that's how they managed to hold control for pretty much the majority of the game. But the old habits came back to bite Only Realm in game number 3, where Tribe Gaming spawn trapped them yet again.
What I really want to see is the DPS stats from this Pierce now, because he has been hitting quite a lot of shots. We will see it any second moment now. Aside of that, I just wasn't. There we go. 392 DPS, double of that of so many medals on this map. Look at that Meeple DPS. That was the last pick, wasn't it? It's just, wasn't what I hoped for. Sure, you shot him down, but clearly not enough. I would have wished other brawlers. I would have wished for a penny turret, which no one clearly can take down. I would have wished even for a thrower would have been so much better for me.
Yeah, that's pretty tough right there. You wonder at that point, like, okay, is it important enough that we just decide to go for like a Sprout or something like that? But then you like the DPS. I mean, in hindsight, you know, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah,
how do you shut down Diego Gamer on that lane? Meeple wasn't a bad idea. It only got them a single game victory, and it got them some control in game number 3, to be fair. But Tribe Gaming now lead the series 1-0. We're headed on to Heist for our next one. Bit of safe zone action. We could see that Penny that we sort of teased on Dueling Beetles make a real appearance, but probably in the ban phase, if we're being honest.
Yeah, she's definitely a first pick, in my opinion. Better than an Angelo, potentially better than a Pierce, you might argue. Better than a Colt as well, in my opinion. Better than all Assassins here.
Oh
First
my
pick,
gosh.
Insta-pick Chuck coming in. Bans is going to be a Penny, Cold Pierce, as we said. Angelo is going to be open, but that's fine, because you do have a Chuck one cleansing bed as well, so you're not going to be able to deal with a Chuck that easily. You do have a Cordelius, which is great for it. You do have, of course, a Melody now to go aggro, but Only Realm will be going defense as a response to that. Now, what do you go first? Base race, 8-bit? Brock perhaps, or do you handle the Chuck with a Cordelius, follow up? This is a really nice strat that Drake from Na'Vi actually loves to do.
Okay.
He takes the Chuck and Realm and he doesn't even defend him. He just goes up.
Oh, yeah.
He used that as basically a Lily Gator to just go up and create some pressure for his teammates, and I would love to see that here. Beautiful 8-bit pick. You do need a base race against the Chuck.
Okay, but now you risk like facing a Brock, don't you? So maybe they decide to, no, it might be too hard of a commit, because then you can't defend that Chuck very effectively. We'll see what they decide to go here. Brock would be good for a multitude of reasons. First of all, you can break a 2x2 thing of like crates and barrels, so that, you know, people aren't able to camp you on your spawn as effectively. You're also able to tap the 8-bit quite easily because he's such a slow brawler. That turret isn't as much of an issue now. We'll see Eve selected by Tribe. They trust in their skills to line up this barrage of eggs. I think also they know that, look, this is going to be free supers that we farm off of Chuck, so we can use these hatchlings as a screen to push into the enemy side with their final brawler, which has to be some kind of DPS, if you ask me.
I would have loved to have an Angelo. Why are you going Eve if Angelo's open, which is basically the better version of Eve on every single aspect they can think of? Now, Only Realm will just go a calm defense. Ziggy might have been a secret pick into 8-bit if they know about it, but you gotta take an Amber probably, or some kind of that. I would love an Amber. I think you can deal with that pretty nice. Carl to counter wave, fair enough. I take that. You gotta be careful of a Melody though. You really gotta shut down that Melody. Do you force an RT now for that? Do you take Melody away? But you can't take Melody away because then they go Daryl. You definitely need something like Amber or this, but I'm not sure if that's gonna be enough.
I fear if you go RT here, then you risk your shots being absorbed by the Eve, also into the 8-bit. Like maybe your DPS is not going to be enough, and you can drop into sort of the, you know, the quote Jackie form, but that's a big risk. You could get stuck there and then stranded. Carl is a pretty old-fashioned response here. However, you know, it is a response directly to the Eve, and it's going to make Eve's job really difficult if she wants to hide behind some boxes. You can aim around corners, clip those walls. So Otis, now, that's an effective way for maybe dealing with some hatchlings. Maybe you drop the Fat Splatter to do that. Play anti-tank in anticipation of what should be an aggro last pick from Tribe because they're lacking in safe damage at the moment.
Yeah, so Cordelius, of course, to just take him around, as I said earlier, or Melody to just go up, deal easily for Chuck, get an ult from him, easily kill a Carl as well. He's quite an easy target. Or you just go a tank anyway, because simple as enough, if you're going a Carl and you only have Otis as defense, you're disrespecting me that you're not respecting my last big tank. I'm going it anyway. I don't care. I'm running a tank. I'm running it down. Have fun with that, shooting at him. If you have two brawlers shooting at Bibi, who is handling the 8-bit? Who is stopping the damage from happening on the right side? And the Bibi also might get free hypercharge ult from a Chuck as well, which is going to be quite massive and quite influential.
No wall break either, so BB is going to have plenty of hidey holes to duck into. It's not like there's anything that ricochets on walls either, so the bottom left corner of the map might be a point of interest for this BB if she can, you know, fire down mid, then wrap around the left side and get into the enemy base, where she will take a couple of brawlers to pinch out. We're going to keep a close eye on 8-Bit as well, since he can deliver some meaty safe damage also. RBM's going to cause a nuisance over here behind the obstacle on the right side, using it fully to his advantage, but still getting tapped heavily by Only Realm.
8-Bit on the right side is not going to be able to deal, like, it's just free damage. There's a Chuck trying to set up slowly from him. He is going for a double hit setup, but it's going to take quite some time slowly setting up like that with BB free lane on the left side. Action on the shield since the Carl doesn't have enough damage, so you can just run him down like that. Hash is coming down, Chuck is going up, but BB will just farm hold off and sure he sets up slowly. Not even sure if that's a full double hit setup, might have been really, really close. Kai going up as well, but that 8-Bit and the BB down there, just going to be a lot of pressure. Look at 8-Bit with damage. Carl actually still up, but Chuck as well. That's a crazy base from his right now. But Otis is defending it too.
That is a lot of pressure put on a single Otis. He's going to be respawning here. Patchy also looking for the defense onto Luffy. He can pinch Luffy in, but the damage from Chuck is just not really what they need. RBM is going to get a smack off to deal with Chuck. And now this brawl is moving more to the side of Only Realm. Hypercharge popped. RBM stunned by Bobby with the use of the Hypercharge super, but Diego Gamer doesn't really care about Bobby. He's just trying to get around him and get that safe damage. Bobby on low HP doesn't really mind the fact that he's so low because he's just going around the left side, trying to find this angle. 25% left on Tribe Gaming safe and no more shield to protect him.
Someone get this card out. The Chuck is responding too. You have nothing to defend him. That's gonna be the save anything, and all the Kyle fire finishes it off. And the amount of pressure that Only also has is just too much for them to handle. Tribe just needs to focus a bit more on the defense, to not feed the Carl too early on, to actually have at least a bit of defense at the start, so Carl is not in their spawn getting a fair shield, because of any base race, Tribe wins. It's just the start that they need.
Yeah, love the way that Only Realm is playing this also. You can see just like great shot calling and priority on which brawlers to take down. Sans on top of this Eve is a menace, and we'll see Diego Gamer opting to take a more of a mid-centric approach so he's not pressed too hard by Sans in the beginning. And Sans now making move over to the right side. He's going to be cornered by all three of these brawlers. Still, it's an exchange, and Patchy slowly is working his way towards that setup.
Fully setting up now with a double hit setup. It's going to be quite easy to get that off. Has a first upper as well, so if he puts one on the spawn, he basically has an invincible setup where he can respawn from it. Beautiful hype ult from Bobby. He's getting that early to the shutdown with BB already. First shield is in the way of Tribe Gaming though, so BB is going to be stuck in the defense now. Definitely go for Bakal, not the Chuck. But Chuck is going to hold either way. Bakal is the big issue that there's no target prioritization. Bakal is still in the corner. Why is no one defending him?
I am in love with the way that Sans is playing this Carl. He picked up a couple kills on his way over here, and Diego Gamer's just kind of lazily pursuing him like he doesn't really want to. Meanwhile, here comes Chuck, but RBM is right on top of the safe, and he knows how to get the damage. Do they win this on the percentage? I don't think so. Only Realm are taking way too much damage on their safe. Bobby's going to do his best. Does manage to mute Luffy. 1.8k left on the safe, and Patchy can't line up these shots to get the kills. That's frustrating right there for Only Realm. Seems like they were just a little bit off on their judgment because they hard committed to the enemy's safe. Meanwhile, there's an 8-Bit and a BB right on top of theirs.
But what are you going to do as an Otis alone? Because the Chuck is obviously going up. He will not be able to defend. So there's an Otis alone in a 1v2 against a BB and an 8-Bit turret in your face, just raining down hellfire on your safe. There's not a lot of things you can do as an Otis, which is why they pick BB. Because they say, like, I don't care if you have an Otis, we're gonna run you down anyway. Now, going into this game, Otis is coming up at the start here. Didn't like how Eve played the start of the last game. I feel like she should do a bit more damage on the brawlers. RBM kinda trying to break the Chuck, trying to ult him or something. Luffy, of course, is going for damage here. Diego Gamer getting a bit of his ult here. Carl potentially is getting close to ult. Luffy, one shot KOs it down as well. He goes down. Full control from the side of Only Realm. What a start from them.
How often do you see Chuck take down an enemy brawler with his main attack only? He didn't even need a post or a super in order to do that. But along the way, Tribe Gaming have gotten some damage. Luffy has his boosted booster. Diego Gamer has pretty much a clear shot into the safe. Bobby's only barely alive, but that's fine. Patchy's causing a distraction on the enemy side, going for the setup that he needs with an additional post and getting the shield off of the safe.
Otis already has an hype ult again. Eve does actually as well. It's going to create a lot of pressure. Sans can kind of deal with them. Is gonna get almost a turret, but that's fine, you know, like he's doing some pressure, but Chuck is doing so much pressure, so much damage on the save, taking all the hatchlings all the way back, which basically means they're all disappearing in the mid now. Kai is going up, he's gonna get knocked back, it's pretty bad for them. They're gonna lose a lot of control, interesting inventory replacement for the hypercharge, unfortunately just goes down, he takes it, you want the damage boost, you don't care about the hypercharge ability. Bobby with one defense, can he get two? Going for a hatchet, I guess, can he get the Eve, but Chuck doing damage as well?
Well, it's got to be only Realm. Patchy's coming in and cracking yet another shield off of this safe. It means that it's a tempo lead for only Realm by a breadth of 2 invulnerability shields on the safes. Sands also can use his gadget to get in with his hypercharge. It may not even be necessary. Patchy has yet another setup, and here comes Sands for a spinning super of victory. Our match is tied up 1-1. It's a set head of the way of only Realm.
I love how Only Realm is playing it. They just, oh my god, the positioning they have, the people they have. Chuck winning the 1v1 at the start, the placements of the poles, all of them were perfect. Kai, Sands playing amazing Kai, going aggro exactly when he needs to be, where he needs to be, and all this hypercharge ult, he had it so often when it was needed the most. The patience of him to hold it at that moment is just perfect.
Quick shout out to those of you on the event platform. The quiz is still live, so you can get some points that way if you are not getting your prediction right so far, but it does look like things are tied up, so it might not all be lost just yet. You can also vote for the MVP at the end of the match. Want to shout that one out too. Now, some reflection on the way that the set went. You saw Tribe Gaming identify the issue and play their defensive brawlers very, very offensively. The issue, however, is once you're at a deficit, you have no choice but to defend, and then it's just a downward spiral from there. It's what we saw towards the end of Game 3.
Which is why the start is so important, which is why you just, I'm not sure why the baby was stuck playing a mid, playing defense. She just needs to run it down, take some shots, and run down this Chuck. Damage-wise, Chuck, of course, doing the most damage on the save. Abe kind of rivaled him, but the defense was just better from the side of Only Realms, and oh, it is a 476 DPS. Wow.
Goes to show just how much work Bobby was putting in over here, being really, really consistent, which I think is a pretty marked difference from how he's played in, the last couple of years, where it seemed like he was more of the drafter, and that was his specialty. And now he is, keeping up pace with the rest of the team in addition to being a drafter. It's why they've been able to tie up this series 1-1. Really like the brains of a couple of its central characters on both teams. I look at Luffy as being, in my opinion, like definitely top 3 mechanical players and just players in general in North America. And then Bobby wearing the badge of being one of the main characters of North America as well. Only one of these teams can go on to the Grand Finals, however. Only Realm would really love to claim a second Grand Final in a row. Tribe Gaming, if they go there, then they make a Brawl Cup.
Bans coming in, drops coming in. We have an Otis ban on first look, which I love to see. Shape and Ali as well. Getting rid of some assassins, so it's not too annoying to play some kind of Rico comp. Or even a Sandy one, which is a Sand special, an Only Realm special right here. I do love a Mo as an answer to that, though. I'm not sure if Sandy one is the map on a map like this, especially when you get outrange that easily. Good thing is, there's a Rust ban, so there's no wall breaks. That's gonna happen. Two assassins are banned. There is a Mortar still open. You gotta be careful with that, but you could go Rico potentially right now. You could go Mo mid as well. Not sure if you want to commit for a tank. Definitely want to go for some kind of defense. Crow mid, comfortably. I would love that so much more Crow 1 over Sandy 1. Sandy 1 is a bit questionable for me.
With Crow also, like not only do you get good anti-tank abilities, but you're going to get some pretty solid vision in the mid. I look at this, and anytime I see a Sandy picked by Sands' team, I think back to the glory days, basically, for him as a player specifically. Give me the Sandy on stage, but if you know Sands, then he also famously hates Crow. So this is going to be a bit of a torturous matchup for him, not one that he's going to want to face in the mid. Another couple of brawlers from Only Realm. Surprise! What are we feeling over here? Another anti-tank? No. Okay, it's a no from Semantic. This is obviously the setup to an aggro last pick, if you ask me, but why not the Chester here?
I mean, what is he going to do in mid? Mid is going to lose to a Crow. On the side, he's going to lose to Mo. So both sides, he's awful. They have no control. They have no pressure. The Sandy is going to lose both lanes too. Even if they do commit for a Modus or a tank, they're just going to last pick another insane anti-tank, potentially even Cold if you want to break up the map. I don't like this draw from Only Realm so far. I think they're not winning their lanes right now.
Okay. Well, one more lane to go, unless it's a mid, in which case you'd see Sandy and Chester go on the lanes. Looks like, yeah, okay. One of them is going to play mid, and Trunk is going to hope to outlive any sort of aggressive last pick. So if an assassin is in stores for Tribe, Trunk should be able to survive that.
I would love to see, honestly, Chalet just to like, okay, you picked a tank. I'm just going to go to 3 anti-tanks, have fun playing Trunk. You have a possibility of going a tank yourself, a Primo. A Rosa might be interesting too. Of course, a Frank might be possible. Not love it in the trunk, but might be possible. Definitely Shelly will be my #1 option. There you go. There you have it. Just, you know, the audacity of only to pick a tank at the Chromo with the last pick open. They said you cannot do that with us. We're picking a Shelly. Sure, Sandy can get a bit of value, but that trunk will not be able to see the light of day.
Okay, yeah, well, it looks like those ants are hanging out in the darkness of the trunk anyway, so maybe they didn't fully intend on it anyway. It is going to be challenging for him to get utility, though. That is without a doubt. We'll see what the matchups are. Bobby's going to be playing the tank today. It's going to be a rough matchup, but since Bobby is really heading the draft more than anyone else, he probably sees it as his responsibility to play that brawler. Taking it on the Shelly lane, first up. Also playing around this obstacle, and RBM knows that he has to back up. The Tribe Gaming, playing reactively. Wow, not reactively enough. Bobby gets 2. Sans needs to pass this forward, but got to get through RBM. Looks good enough. Bobby supers it in. Not enough ammunition for RBM to get that last bit of HP off of Bobby and interrupt a goal.
That's a Sandy special, the Sand special right there. Double gadget, double hits all around, full control. Goal! Oh no! Because of a war, because Diego Gamer catches it. Oh no, there's a trunk in your face. Can he defend it still? Mold comes down, Bobby strikes the corner, catch it again. Both slowly broken now. One guy in the mid with Chester is going down as well. That might be a goal opportunity right here. Easily. No need to jump there. A bit aggressive patrol. You take that? That is fine. 1-1 trunk with the ult. Might be even close to Hypercharge.
Yeah, just a little bit aggressive there from Luffy, but he didn't really want to run the risk of having that goal be missed because the timing was pretty tight there on the respawn. You even see Bobby using his main attack to get a bit of additional speed to hopefully get to goal line in time. Did not happen, however. Tied ball game, literally. Minute 20 on the clock. And who is hoping that this goes to overtime? Looks like Tribe Gaming with the spread shot of Bro and also Diego Gamer with his splitting shot down the way. Bobby's going to go for the super, and just to cause a distraction, baits out 2 hypercharges. Big overcommitment from Tribe Gaming. They need to get a goal now, but with a team wipe, it's pretty simple to walk this one in.
Did not love that ball positioning, honestly, from Tribe, but then Bobby just going in 1-3. Not the best play there, honestly, but man, without Sans fully carrying you, I don't know what you want to do, because Trunk is getting full hard countered, but Chester's not winning into Chroma. That's what I'm going to tell you. Which means they have even no pressure on mid, which is all eyes on Sans to tank a Mo shot to just run him down. It's the only win condition they have. And as soon as the Mo scans him out one time, that dream is over as well. In my opinion, a full outdraft, I'm impressed they even scored once, but it's not looking good for Oliver.
Superior draft for Tribe Gaming. Only Realm have to dig themselves out of this pit that they've created for themselves. Can Bobby get another early game kill? Doesn't look like it. Luffy stayed perfectly out of range. He's not going to be fooled with the same trick twice. And it's only Sans to remain on defense. 2 supers that he doesn't want to feed, and looks like he had no option. RBM gets his super, and he's holding on to it carefully, waiting for his chance to use this and combo for a goal. But he's also being mindful of feeding Sans his own super, working for the outrange. Diego Gamer gets 1, and everyone just gets mashed to bits against the wall. It's an easy pass up to Diego Gamer for the goal, but he's going to have to walk it in. Feeds a little hypercharge to Bobby, but not really that much. A solid lead for Tribe.
Beautiful play from Diego Gamer. Got the trunk, supported his teammates, got the goal as well. Perfectly executed by him. Bobby's going in with the heel get as well. Secures a kill with that. The Shelly ult comes back. Crow jump comes in. The ball is getting covered from the Shelly. The ball pass back. No missed opportunity. Missed defense from Tribe Gaming. What a blunder. 1-1.
Diego Gamer rotating over towards the right side, and Bobby being careful to follow his moves because that's the guy that he wants to super. Getting ticked down on damage just a little bit, but Bobby has his hyper super in hand, so which lane is he going to rotate over towards? Has to adapt a defensive position. Luffy in with a hyper charge is going to do a lot of damage, but dies mid-flight. Diego Gamer only barely stays alive, and no one has the range to take him down, but only Realm do get mid-control off of this play.
What am I seeing? To hyper charge wasted for no reason whatsoever. What if Crow jump earlier? He knows who ends the poison damage. He should not be dying there. No, Diego Gamer on the bottom right is a nice position. Oh no, Patchy got a hypercharge. If he gets a hypercharge, well, this will be quite crucial and quite important. With gadget from Luffy, though, stops his healing, secures the control. There is a Sandy ult, but they do know they can only be on 2 spots. They keep scanning it. Can they sneak out of it? They cannot. Diego Gamer ult backwards. He does not do that at all. This commits for a death, which kind of makes sense again, which is not good. But the Shiny Eyeball comes down! Can he get a kill? He needs to go for defense first. Not the best hypercharge.
No, not a great hypercharge at all, and he doesn't even have a super now. It completely missed his opponent. With 20 seconds to go, Tribe Gaming are going to have the upper hand comp-wise. They also have some... Oh, never mind. He does have another super off of that. Being very interesting. Hyper ult now from Sands. He's going to blast Bobby and Sands away, and Patchy on the right side also has a super of his own. Wants to blast something open, but dies with the super in hand. That's pretty bad.
And then the Chester Hyper gone as well. Sandstorm gone as well. Love it for some reason is feeding it over. Golden Death is coming in. The pass for team player of Holy Realm. Incredible blades.
That was ridiculous, and Sands shaking his head like, I shouldn't have had to do that. All of that effort just to be tied here in the set. But once again, they're comp diffed here. They know that mechanics are the only way that they can get their way to the next set with this one under their belt.
The amount of hypercharge wasted from Tribe, the trembling they have, I don't know if they're shaking, I don't know if they're feeding Brock up on the line, but the mistakes are too much. They have to comp, they just need to play a bit slower. Don't feed with Sandy so many times for no reason. Beautiful get it from RBM here. And just played slow, played confident. Now Chester and mid losing again. Bobby pushing top left. He's gonna get taken care of from the mold. Shelly will probably just break some grass from walls. Perfectly used as well. The Chester has one shot, goes down. Might be a goal right here. Is there gonna be no time? It is not. 1-0 for Tribe Gaming.
Bobby has the super this time, and Diego Gamer doesn't. You know what that means. Bobby is going to probably be immediately supering, and look at this. Diego Gamer says, okay, please cover me, Luffy, so this guy doesn't immediately super me. And they rotate RBM onto the left side. At some point, you got to switch up of what lane you're going towards. Sands could have a big play. No, he pumped the gadget preemptively as well. It was almost huge. Bobby now going to go for the super. They need to get this past Luffy, who jumps to the sky so he can at least get a little bit of hypercharge off of everyone being in such close proximity. That's what you call min-maxing.
That's a lot of util use though, and Tribe Gaming has a bit of map control, has the map open as well. They do know where the enemies are. Correct lanes as well. With Shelly on the trunk, that should be quite easy for RBM. They're swapping the lanes in the background. No one is punishing for that. What is happening? They should swap back right now. Gap, Walls and Brass is broken more for RBM here, but Sands just sneaking in, seeking a position. The Crow Poison is exposing him, which is helping him quite a lot. But the stun is there for Sandy. The ult is there, but RBM is getting a kill though. Virtual balls over ball positioning is off over hyper. Ult needs to come to defend this, but is it possible? I don't know if they're gonna race for the time. Holy Realm takes a game and the set. We are 2-1 for Holy Realm.
What a recovery! Oh, okay, I don't know if you can read lips, but Sands did not share very kind words there. It was something to do with his opponents being of inferior skill, if you can read his lips. Yes, because they were full out drafted there,
completely. And
they still managed to take down Tribe Gaming. That feels terrible if you're Tribe.
Biggest mistake was definitely that lane swap at the end there. Like, they just didn't recognize the Sandy. The goals were so good for Tribe, honestly. They just fumbled when they got pushed for some reason. They have full mid control and they keep fumbling. The defense here right now is so RBM passing the ball back, just passing them right. Reaction time is not there. I don't know if it's a nerve. That goal was so beautiful, by the way. Oh my god. I really don't know if it's the nerves or what is happening right now with Tribe, but Brawl Cup is on the line right now.
Sands always does a phenomenal job of like making the North American GIF of the month, basically, on the player cams, but that one post-game is definitely going to be turned into a Discord sticker and shared around some servers. There's no doubt in my mind. Here's the final play with Diego Gamer going down mid-hypercharge and the receipt on Apache for the final goal forward. Okay, you get out-drafted here. You take the lead in the match overall. Here are the stats, by the way. Just so many more kills for Tribe Gaming, and yet off of that, and look at that. That was like a really bad couple of games for Sands. He only got, what, maybe like, 2, 3 supers through the entire thing? Got a single hypercharge
A bit more, like
bit
5
more.
probably.
Yeah, but see, he was denied those shots so many times because he's outranged by every one of these brawlers.
I don't know if you saw, but that Mo had the DPS of 2 enemies combined.
Oh.
That's the amount of out-comp you had. That's the amount of crazy diff comp you had, but the mistakes were just too crucial. I just want to say, by the way, that Mo ult clear at the end, he had a Mo ult with a ball in hand. You can just super shot it away. He didn't do that either. The defense abilities were just not there for the side of Tribe Gaming. Now, 2-1, you just saw Luffy being hands down. Their mental is not there. No. They're down bad, and they're playing for Brawl Cup. This is not a good combination right now.
Now, I've made sure to mention it as little as possible in these broadcasts, but I'll say it now. As someone who legitimately lives with Luffy, I can tell you that I barely see the guy at all because he spends all day scrimming and practicing and honing his craft. And to find himself in this position after all of that effort, is just heartbreaking, but I'll say across the way, the same goes for these guys. Like, I've seen Sans' hours on the game, and he'll be like, yeah, I only had 100 hours on the game this week. Do you realize how much time that is on Brawl Stars? They've worked so hard to earn their way into this position, but it seems like it's just only Realms season more than it is Tribe's. Let's talk about draft. An early Sandy pickup for Tribe here on Double Swoosh. Really solid option here. Also preemptively anticipating a possible Tara, it may look like. Also just solid into anti-aggression because Mortis is completely on the table.
There's the third pick you wanted. Sandy also potentially just taking away from the enemy team. We just saw with Sandy quite strong as well. The bans are all pretty anti-tank bans. There's some Assassins open, which is Lily, Ali, and Mortis. Any of them I would love to see. I do think Mortis would be the best one playing mid. You can't go Rosa anymore. Bull, of course, is global banned as well. There might be possible last pick Rosa for only Realms. We will see about that. But definitely want to see a Mortis getting picked up here now from the side of Tribe Gaming and a bit more range to deal with this Clancy. Any assassin. We realistically just need any assassin, and Sandy could even play a bit, in my opinion.
Okay, let's see if he does. Pearl is obviously going to be playing a lane over here. This is a pretty popular selection in South America for taking bad side, basically. Firing away into bushes blindly. She's not going to be amazing into Tara Shades, I'll at least acknowledge that, but she will be a survival expert, and possible to deny some aggression that way. Something we haven't seen yet from Only Realm is something that basically makes it its quest to consistently dive the enemy gem carrier. Lily is on the table, but for Only Realm, I feel like with the composition they have so far, it may be an overcommitment.
I'm not a big fan of that. So basically it's going to be Sandy or Bust the Mid. I actually don't like a Pearl pick into the Clancy itself. I think you're just going to feed the Clancy so much. Now, Only Realm does need a nice brawler to either break the map or just support the Clancy, but they do need an assassin, which is quite hard to play into this. So probably should just pick a Rosa up, maybe a tank, maybe a Daryl even, maybe a Trunk. I would love to see a Trunk into that as well. I think that would be quite funny to play. Quite hard to play an assassin. Yeah, probably. There you go.
Wow, okay. Let's run it back after the last one. They got out-drafted pretty hard on Sneaky Fields. Now on Double Swoosh, he's going to have pretty much just as many bushes to frolic around in. And this time he's going to have a much easier time sneaking up on those opponents. Specifically the Gem Carrier is the one we're going to keep our eyes out for. Into a Gem Carrier specifically, I feel like Buster is going to be a pretty prime candidate for that role. And he's not going to be too amazing into Trunk because Buster really needs to three-shot stuff. His attack doesn't do that much damage, and his reload speed is pretty bad. This one's for all the marbles. It would seem Only Realm are just one set away from destroying Tribe Gaming's dreams and bringing Team Electros into a Brawl Cup that they would almost be undeserving of after 2 quarterfinals finishes.
Bobby pushing in with the Gadget on the right side. Pearl is shooting him. He still gets a kill, which is crucial for his ult charge. Sandy didn't get too many shots either. Patchy, of course, is on the Clancy here. Needs a bit of time to get his level 2, but Lovely is going quite aggro, which means Patchy should get it. Sandy with an ult now. Full control for Tribe Gaming. Get it from the Tara, but go look at that Trunk getting taken care of, and in 1v3 was a bit too ambitious to go. Full control for Tribe. This is quite hard to break out.
Tribe Gaming have these bushes on lock. Bobby just feeding damage over here. Didn't even achieve anything for himself. Didn't really create that much room for Patchy even. Sans has his super, at least, off of all that aggression from Tribe. He's guaranteed to get his super relatively quickly. Bobby's going to feed the super to the Sandy. It doesn't seem to really matter that much because the enemy's positions are known. Now Patchy has to be ready for someone, and he's a little bit early on the timing on the left side. Meanwhile, on the right, Sans only just manages to come out on top of that interaction. Has his hypercharge and super off of it as well.
But Pearl actually used ult early, so she got cancelled by the Tara. Fortunately, the Tara hypercharge ult is coming down. Not going to pull the Buster thanks to the star power. Buster's staying alive. Never mind, Bob is getting him. Can Diego Gamer do something about that? Patchy has gem slow. They're not getting the gem carry, and Patchy needs to run. It's not able to happen. But Pearl with the hyper, the Buster coming in as well. Patchy goes down. All the gems now from the side of Tribe Gaming. Sans with a single ult. Can he defend it? Pulls the Pearl. Is it going to be enough? It is not, because it's only Bobby trying to get a kill, but the Pearl ult shuts it down.
And a critical error too, just micro plays. Pulled the Pearl towards the enemy side. Tribe Gaming have walked all over this, but it didn't have to be like that. Only Realm were too greedy. They just saw the win glimmering in the reflections of their eyes. But with a respawning enemy to snap up all of those gems, they had to about face, and Clancy could not get away quickly enough.
crazy interactions at the top side. They're definitely too aggro. I 100% agree. They had control. They just didn't need to go for it. Even if you kill them, like, you gotta recognize you're feeding too much. You cannot keep up that aggression all the time, especially with a brawler like Trunk. You gotta reset once. Also, just wait for your Clancy to get gold level. Just too aggro, honestly. Now, the start is quite difficult for only round. It's gonna be quite hard for Trunk to do anything early game, same as the Clancy. But early game is really, really tough. They are gonna just feed Sandy, but the only thing Bobby can do is catch a smoke guard. Oh no, it's a full team play of Tribe Gaming. It's just on point right now.
Everything from Tribe is being parried at the moment. RBM blocking off some of those shots from Sands. Meanwhile, on the right side, Patchy could get another couple shots on Diego Gamer. That's fine. You know, he's got level 2. That's worth quite a bit. Bobby on the right side is just feeding even more supers. It's not really a great look, but he knows that all he has to do is get one solid super, and then Only Realm can run away with all the gems. Luffy using an offensive Pearl super is a new one, but Tribe Gaming have shown us just how dominant they can be with this composition and their general team play, so I'll allow it.
The problem with this Clancy and Trunk combo is that no one can make an entry for each other. They're both brawlers that carry afterwards, but they're not able to do an entry, especially in a combo like this. And this Terror just simply doesn't have HP to do anything like that. Bobby keeps going in and keeps feeding his Sandy, which is so crucial for Tribe to keep having that control. The wall break from Luffy, just to make sure you can always hit the enemy. Instead of Diego Gamer on that grass, didn't even need to expose himself. He just showed himself early. They had no idea he was in there. Slightly high ball coming up though. Patrick getting muted. Bobby just getting shut down by the gadget of Sandy. I don't know how Only Realm is going to come out of this alive.
It looks basically impossible. If Sands uses a super, RBM's going to pop his hypercharge super. Only one more gem is needed by Tribe Gaming. They get it. It spawns on their side really, really easily, but now none of them can afford to die. It's Sands trying to encircle from behind. Meanwhile, Tribe Gaming make an effort to stay alive on this right-hand side. Do we see the hypercharge from RBM just yet? Everyone charging in from Only Realm, but it's only a conga line of demise. Tribe Gaming sweep through set number 4. We're going to the 5th and final.
We are going to the last set for World Cup. I love it so much. Oh my god. Electros, how are you feeling right now? You're watching this. They're playing for World Cup for you. Only Realm is giving their best, but Tribe is saying, you know, oh my god, I could not believe the amount of... What is Electros feeling right now? They're just watching this and they're like, oh, why? How can you draft something like this?
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Also, you got to consider the possibility that, like, look, if Tribe Gaming if Tribe Gaming end up winning this monthly final, then you have to acknowledge the possibility that, like, if Team Electros won their quarterfinal, then Only Realm were just out of it to begin with, basically. Only Realm needed to stay ahead of Tribe Gaming in points in order to stay alive in the race to Brawl Cup.
Yeah, you're very, very true. I mean, you gotta check the percentage of set percentage win rate, I guess, to clarify that. But last I knew, Electros was up. But yeah, that is definitely true if that would have been still the case. That's Hanny having 400 DPS as the first pick, completely unreal. Going Clancy Tara into it, and with Tank as last pick just wasn't it, I guess. For Clancy Tara especially, they couldn't support the Trunk. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't break through anything.
Pretty solid performance here for Tribe, to say the least. That was not the composition that Only Realm needed. They wanted that Tara, but you have a Clancy without incredible matchups, basically, and you have a couple of Tara counters across the way. Looked like they were trying to sneak it across, but I can't really remember the last time that I saw a Tara comp work here on Double Switch, not at least in competitive.
Looking at the results so far here, how close really was it between those two teams? We said we might go all the way to the last set between those two, and we did also in the grand final of March. Now look at this, the only set that was finally 1-2-0 was that last one in Gem Grove. Goldarm Gold is the map to round us out. Whoever wins this one will go to Brawl Cup and also decide over the fate of Team Electros.
That's absolutely wild. You don't have any control over your ability to get into the next stage of the competition. Except they did. You know, they just had to win their quarterfinal, and they got bested by the team who made it into their very first monthly final of the year. So that's not a great look for Team Electros. If they do make it through, I'm almost tempted to say that they would be regarded as one of the weaker teams showing up.
I could not relate to losing to a team like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, good to...
this guy. It's quite embarrassing.
It's better if you throw yourself to it, Semantic. I'm glad I don't have to be the evil guy or the evil woman over here. But yeah, in the end, Team Electros, if they make it to World Cup, it would be their first ever LAN event. I would be super happy for them. At the same time, we do have to say, Tribe Gaming deserves it to go to a World Cup. And for Diego Gamer, it would only be his second LAN event ever. Last year, He really got a little bit unlucky with his roster. Then he did play at LCQ, but they didn't make it through. So I think him going to Brawl Cup would be a nice closure of a long story with him.
Yeah, he came into last year as not even a rookie, by the way. He'd been grinding for quite a while to make it to that stage, to play with that Elevate roster, and then was, denied at the last second to go to a Brawl Cup. And yeah, as you said, he appeared at a LAN, but it was just under the wrong circumstances. So finally can do it right, and he's working hard to do it as well. He's the one in charge of the drafts this month, and it looked quite convincing in the quarterfinal, okay? And this one, to be fair, looked quite solid as well. You're drafting stuff into this Tara specifically. It was the right move after all. But now he has to prove himself as the desired drafter for the team in this final set. Only one map stands between them and a Brawl Cup.
But draft is not the issue, because they had it as well on the Brawl Ball set. They had the full draft. Yeah. They lost anyway. The skill and the team play is the issue, and I really hope they're not doing the same mistake now on the last set.
Well, we're gonna see. That last set is the decider. Whoever wins this map wins the semi-finals. Kit, Ollie, and Ziggy banned out on the right-hand side. They do have first pick, so they're banning out a couple of assassins and that thrower, Ziggy, who is just so strong at the current, this moment in time. My first pick on a map like this one, I really like Brock, because you can decide if you want to open up the map or not. It's not going to be a Brock, it's going to be a brawler that neither Semantic or I agree with, it sounds like.
Okay, first of all, I disagree with the idea of Spike being a meta brawler right now. I think in Europe, at least, he is 8% under the average win rate in Europe. I don't think he's a meta brawler, and there's an Angelo. I don't understand why you would prefer a Spike over an Angelo. Also, like, so many tanks beat him anyway. Not a fan of that. I think you should definitely take an Angelo right now here, and then just something to make sure they're not going to throw an easy tank. Bella's going to be the pick. You know, that's fine. Any sniper is fine. You got to be a bit careful with a thrower and or assassin now.
Yeah, but you know, Spike's kind of cute.
Is that how you draft? This is for Brawl Cup!
As a coach who gets paid to coach, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Sunny finally gave her credentials. So, okay, let's talk about this Bella here. Like, yes, consistent in the long-range matchups, sure, can get run down. Also, potential, actually, to reflect some damage off of the life plant spawned by Spike.
That RT pick definitely does counter tanks / assassins. They could deal with that easily. Not a good pick into a thrower, or even into a Rico if that's going to be picked here. There's some Meeple open too from the side of Tribe Gaming. So is a Mina if they want to go for it. Kid is banned, unfortunately. I could even see Lily work if they really want to commit for it. Jayang also a beautiful brawler, which I guess the Bell is kind of dealing with as well. So my brawler to go, probably Meeple is what I would imagine to go. Oh, yeah, Nani, just counter both snipers. I would love that.
Brock Angelo, Brock Nani. I still see the Brock in there. Thank you. You can open up the map if you want to, and you have it in your own hands if you want to deviate from that plan and instead go a tank. Now, he's coming out as the fourth pick here. Now, I really just think they should break open the map and probably pick one of the snipers we already mentioned. With Pierce banned out, there's still a couple of options open. Angelo, Nani, Piper, all would still be really, really good here into this draft, I feel, against the Bell and RT anyway.
The big problem, though, is you have Brock and Spike, incredible squishy brawlers. I don't know what brawler can even save it for them to stop, and Lily last pick.
My calculations are correct.
I guess maybe if you go stun, but if you go stun, the snipers will beat you. I think a Lily last pick would hard cook this. Even a Mortis last pick could be quite good if they really want to. Or Cold to break up the map, because they only have Brock. They only have Brock as range. If Brock doesn't break, Cold will break. It's a Bell and RT on open range against them. Early game is what Tribe needs, realistically, to win this match, but late game is definitely in the favor of Only Realms.
We wanted to see a sniper on their side, the Piper, the Angelo, the Nani. In the end, Cold just to open up the map, really wise choice. Only Realm is really cooking with those draws today.
Seems they are, but is the Colt going to be enough? It's not like it's a hard counter pick or anything like that, though he is going to be quite speedy, or does he go for Magnum Special? Like, I think there are a bunch of different ways to play this. Semantic, I know you're going to know the meta option, but let me bring us in to this final set here between Only Realm and Tribe Gaming. This one determines whether Tribe Gaming will go to the Brawl Cup or whether it will be Team Electros after they fell in the quarterfinals.
Lane split here from Only Realm and Tribe Gaming. Correct assumption how you're going to play this map. Patch is going to be a bit careful before Brock pinching him as well. For Spike on the left side, you cannot realistically scan with a Bell here. Bobby keeps breaking the map up slowly for the breaks though. Still too many walls for the snipers to do. It is fine, honestly, to lose round one. Just make sure you break enough map for the next 2 rounds. And just keep playing it slow. Patch needs to be still really, really careful on his left side.
Patchy in a rough spot, gonna get caught by that stick around, but just barely out of range of one of those shots. One gets tapped up by two. He's got to play this cautiously. Bobby also, oh no! It's one taken down by RBM, and the next falls in the poison, and everything collapses. Tribe Gaming run them down.
These wall breaks are just not it. Look at it on the right side. They're gonna push the right because they have a wall break. So they push the left instead. That spike is definitely going to push them immediately away with a get it as well. It's going to be quite difficult to push out of that. They have a Meeple get it as well to just push them even further. Do we wanting the spike to break out of it? But oh no, there's a Brock as well. And the spike, and they're pushing him down. It's looking awfully for Only Realm.
Well, at least they don't have this fully blocked off, but they aren't at risk of being trapped in spawn. Patchy's going to have to play this range matchup versus Diego Gamer, who's not really intent on getting the damage more than he is intent on keeping Patchy in that one specific position. That's unlucky. Luffy dropped to 10 HP after that super from Patchy that marked him up. It's going to be really only 2-tap in the later stages of this. Thankfully for Only Realm, they have survived this time. Here comes yet another super. This time the mark is on Diego Gamer. Now, is that ideal is what I want to know. Bobby's breaking open yet more walls. Let's acknowledge that too. The end stages of this round are going to be coming in soon. That's a takedown for Sands that drops this to a 3v2 and puts Only Realm in the lead.
Exactly what they needed. The open map to set it up for round 3. An early kill to secure this round. Diego Gamer's getting fed a bit, sure and all, but that is going to be completely fine. 2v1, this Brock has no chance of winning that. Map fully open. Just gotta be careful for start. You gotta be careful that there's no Meeple box on the left side. Push them immediately. But even if there is, they have a cold gadget. They have the ability to break out of it. Map fully open. No, Spike kind of needs to do something early on because if not, there's no chances they're gonna push them.
As the Hypercharge active, would love to run at them. If there's anything RBM's good at, it's running in a straight line and seemingly avoiding all damage. But Bobby has a barrage of bullets to fire his way. Sands would love to shut him down, and Sands has got to be close to that Hypercharge super as well. This is starting to resemble Purple Paradise, if you remember. It is a series of 1v1s occurring from east to west.
Crazy, and I don't know how Tribe Gaming is going to break out of this endgame because, again, the Meeple get it's not going to be enough. I know he's 1 or 2 shot away from Hyper.
Oh.
Crazy bounce from Belly. They keep bouncing. Everybody wants shot. The gadget of cold hitting with Spike as well. Gas coming any second now. I feel it in my veins with Spike Hyper. Cloak as well with Bell Hyper. For the second Hyper this game already coming down here. It's not going to get an ult though. No ability is going to happen. The RT Hyper coming in, going to get 1 kill. There's a 2v2 about to happen with Spike Hyper. It's not going to be enough as well with Brock on the top side. Can he hit the call? He hits 1 shot. Can he hit another one? The Hyper is getting popped too. Oh god, the Spike is 1 shot too. The Bell is just running it down. What is even happening? 1v1. And Bobby with a gadget secures the kill. What was that?
How hairy here. Only Realm somehow managed to bring this back. That was insane at the end. How often do you see all those walls broken open? And that was a lot of missed shots. Do we call that strange aim or great dodging? It's also really awkward to fight left to right like that. Only Realm persists in spite of it. They're at match point now. Tribe Gaming could fall here and make way for a Team Electros to qualify to Brawl Cup instead. We're going to see Only Realm pressured into the back right corner this time. RBM is not really giving them a hand. The way that those curveball little spines rotate is less favorable if you're on the right side of the map. But here comes the wall break. Only Realm stay alive as they continue to break down the walls that Tribe Gaming need to survive.
Again, it is acceptable for Only Realm to lose the first round. All they need is enough breaks to set them out for round 2 and especially round 3. And most importantly, push the Spike out later on. Now, what you don't want to do is feed this Meeple too much because the high bolt of Meeple could be quite annoying. Bobby is trying to go for a break to get a kill. It is not going to be enough. The gas in the backline, stuck by his Spike super, and Brock Incendiary Fire. It's just nothing they can do break out of that. The mid-right map is a bit open, but they kind of need to secure the left lane as well. They need to push a Spike out as well and break a bit more wall. They're probably going to commit for left side and try the same thing they did in the last round.
Yeah, basically same thing as game number 1. Now looking for the wall break, but none of them have it unlocked just yet, so Bobby's just waiting for it. That's a pretty big one. Luffy and RBM at missing some space. Meanwhile, Patchy takes the same matchup against Diego Gamer on the bottom side. And again, Diego Gamer just wants to push Patchy into this corner, and with all the shots he avoided, that was pretty sick. Now a couple bots, and here comes the super to open things up. Both Bobby and Patchy fall, and Sands on just a little sliver of HP will be the last to survive. If he can get a hypercharge, it's possible, but he already knows that it's over. It's going to double match point.
Oh my god, Brawl Cup on the line. Electros on their seats watching this game, shivering, hoping that Only Realms figures out the correct correct strategy to win this. What I really need is for them to, I don't know, push left side earlier on. They need to push with Spike out early on. 2v1 him, because you know Meeple is all the way on the right side, right? You know he's there, Spike is alone. Just push him out in a 2v1 like you did in that run route. And then slowly break from left to right, because you don't ever need to push the right side. There you go. They're pushing left side, Meeple on the mid right. Hopefully they know how to deal with Spike correctly.
Okay, let's see if they do. RBM on the left side, just like last time. Diego Gamer with the fruitless gadget along the right because he didn't have the knowledge that only Realm were triple stacking the left. At least he can take up some room over here and try and get these shots to curve around the left. It's been an annoying matchup for Patchy this entire time. Now, only Realm risk getting trapped the same way they did at the end of game number 2, where a couple of them were boxed into the left side. Diego Gamer has to have his gadget left, and look at this. Only Realm, they're in the same position. This is a huge risk, but he won't be able to get them in the perfect position like he did last time. That said, only Realm are all boxed into their spawn.
Again, it is fine to lose round 1. The breaks on the bottom one, which are happening already. The bottom mid is broken up. Bobby is trying to escape on the right side too. Diego Gamer is quite low. The gas is coming though. Patchy needs to push out on the right side immediately. Sands will fall on the left side here. Just make sure you keep breaking, Bobby. Don't ignore everything. Bolt that wall. Get rid of it. There you go. Get it this wall perhaps. Patchy's trying to tap. Please, Bobby, get it. Please, you need that.
Manifesting over here, but still he wasn't able to get the kill. It's a round to Tribe Gaming. One more, and they've done it. They've overtaken Team Electros, these rookies that came in and shocked the North American scene with their skill that have fallen in earlier rounds than anticipated in the last couple of months. Only Realm, the only one standing at the gates at this point to Tribe Gaming's advancement on to Brawl Cup. He'll take a more spread out approach this time, but again, back into the back left. Bobby marching forward beyond the rocket rain, but gets caught out in the stick around. It's more from Diego Gamer, and Patchy has to just hang back in spite of having this hypercharge. Sands and Patchy, the duo on the left side, in the face of all this utility from Tribe Gaming, have to make the last stand.
Incredible kill. Crazy that Patchy didn't die from a Brock ult there. Incredible kill on the Colt as well. You know, it is heavily favored in Tribe Gaming, this 3v2. It is not over though. Nice taps from a Bell. NRT can secure a will like that. There is one tap on Luffy with Sands and slow as well. The abilities are coming across the field. Spike hypercharge is coming down. Patchy goes down. And they all fall down, and Tribe Gaming qualified to Brawl Cup.
After a lackluster season, they managed to take a second place once, but they couldn't finish the job. Now they'll head back to that grand final, but this time they know they're going to land. We'll see you in Berlin, Tribe Gaming. Only Realm disappointed that they couldn't finish the job there, and they know they're going to be catching some heat from those Team Electros players.
Man, I wonder how Electros is feeling right now. This is so sad. They had it in their hands to win the quarterfinals. And Tribe Gaming though, they're so strong, they're looking amazing. The drafts are just on point. The early games of Golden Goals, they played it so perfect. Kept pushing them all the time, kept them in spawn, didn't even let anyone breathe. It was just perfectly played from Tribe Gaming, and honestly, they might as well win the whole multi-final now.
I'm still thinking back to that clip where Sands on the post-game reaction, oh goodness, yeah. Bobby's like, okay, I'm done, bye. I don't want to bear witness to this anymore. He's definitely mad about that. But yes, Sands on the player cam saying they're bad. Basically, Patchy also similarly disappointed. You come to expect it.